This story took place 19 years ago. I'm a female, and at the time I was 16. I was 5'7" and I weighed about 130 pounds. My mother and stepfather went away on vacation, and they left my 17-year-old sister and I home alone. They did this quite often. My sister and I didn't get along either. She was pretty difficult to deal with. Luckily, she decided to go stay at a friend's house while my parents were away. I was nervous about being home alone, so I had my boyfriend stay with me. He was a douchebag at times, but nonetheless, I was glad he was there. One night, my boyfriend Brett and I were at my house, and we had just started messing around when I heard a really loud knock at the door. Now, my room was in the basement, but at the landing area between the stairs, there was a window that I could see the stairs that led up to the alcove of our front porch. I could see two people standing there, and just as I was peeking out to see them a little bit better, one of them saw me. I remember feeling the breath sucked out of my chest. There were two young men standing on my porch. It was almost midnight, and I had no idea who the hell they were. The guy that saw me let his friend know, and they both looked in the window and asked me to come to the door. My boyfriend had gone upstairs to open the door, and I remember freaking out because I had told him not to. He was one of those guys that thought he was Mr. Tough Guy and believed he could fight anyone. He was telling the guys to leave just as I joined him at the door. They saw me and called me by name and asked for me to let them in. Brett told them to screw off. One guy, I think he said his name was Wes or something like that, said to my boyfriend that he just wanted him to come outside so he could talk to him. I jumped in and said no thanks and that we were going to go to bed, and then immediately shut the door. I was really confused and getting very frightened. They stood on my doorstep for a few minutes, then started knocking again. The one guy, Wes, explained to me through the door that he was my sister's friend and that she had told him I was alone at home and that they should come by. I knew my sister and I believed them. That did not, however, make me stupid. I told them to leave. They then started kicking the door. It was shaking and I seriously feared that it would not hold up. I was so scared that I ran into my kitchen to call the police. I was assured that they would be there very soon. Meanwhile, Brett was still yelling at them, which only served to piss these guys off more. I begged him to shut up, but he would not listen to me. I was locking all the doors and windows upstairs while Brett went down to check the doors. Down in the basement, there was a huge mudroom area, and it had a thick wooden door made of 2x4 planks, kind of like a barn door. The door had a big old lock on it, some spring-loaded turn bolt, and also had a plank to set across it like a barricade. One of the guys was pounding on this door, and Brett heard him tell the other to go try the back door. Now the back door was one of those 1960s kind of doors that had a happy little square window right at face level with a little curtain across it. I was at this door, trying to jam a chair under the flimsy knob when I looked up and saw the unnamed guy just looking in at me. I screamed and the dispatcher had asked me if I was okay. I barely got out that one of the guys was looking right at me through the window. He was older than me, probably about 20, and he was tall, and he looked scary as hell. His dark eyes were drilling into me and he wore this creepy, placid smile on his face. I had never seen this man before, but he knew my name. He tapped on the window with one finger, never breaking any eye contact, and called me by name and said to let him in. I couldn't breathe. The knob was rattling as he was messing with it, and again he told me to let him in, and that he wanted to just see if I was okay, and that he just wanted to talk. He stared at me. I didn't say anything. I was just 3 feet from him, with my back pressed to the fridge, when he suddenly started breathing on the door and screamed, "Let me in the damn house. If I have to break in, I will kill you both, so just open the damn door." He looked crazy. Then there was a loud knock at the front door, and the man went silent. He gave me the most hateful sneer I'd ever seen. I heard shouting, and he ran down the back stairs and into the woods along the back of my yard. Brett had gone to the door. It was the cops. There were 2 female officers at the front door. and one was just starting to raise her voice, asking where I was when I came to the door. I was so relieved, I started sobbing. I told them that they had run away through the woods. Luckily, the woods were not deep. They actually ran along the bank of a large river, and there was a bridge just up from where the woods met the road. One officer ran around the back, while one stayed to get a description and take my statement. The one officer came back and spoke to the other officer, said she saw them running across the bridge. They both left in a hurry, hopped in the cruiser, and sped off. I was still crying and shaking uncontrollably, but I was absolutely furious at Brett for riling them up. I went to make myself some tea, thinking of all the ways I could kill my sister when she got home. I had so much anger, fear, and adrenaline pumping through me, I could have ripped her to shreds at that moment. About 20 minutes later, the cruiser came back. There were two guys sitting in the back seat, and the officers wanted me to confirm it was the right guys. I looked through the window and saw them. They still looked terrifying to me. They were in cuffs and could not get to me, but I would not get close to them. Neither would look at me. I confirmed it was them, and we spoke a bit. I told the cops about my sister, suggesting that these two men should come see me. I pressed charges for attempted forcible entry, property damage since they had broken a window in the living room, trespassing, disorderly conduct, and attempted assault. Initially, they both pled not guilty, but later admitted to some of the charges. They both got 18 months in jail and were forbidden to contact me or my boyfriend ever again, and to be at least 1,600 feet from me at all times. I never heard from them again. I confronted my sister about it, and of course, she denied it, then laughed about it, laughed at me. She was an awful person. I have no idea what their true intentions were, as they maintained that they were just there to talk to me. I'm thankful I didn't have to find out.